November 30th, 2024 is going to be a day that is going to live forever in the memories of Botafogo supporters all around the globe. A sleeping giant came out of its slumber and showed the world, it shocked the world in the most heroic and the most monumental fashion. On November 30th, 2024, Botafogo won the Libertadores title. Botafogo conquered the Americas. It's something that in my wildest dreams seemed like such a far-fetched idea, especially 4 years ago when we were in the Serie B. And not that the Serie B is a place that we belonged, because we never belonged in what I call purgatory. Serie B is purgatory, or Serie C and below is hell. Serie B is purgatory. And it didn't seem like a place that we fit in, a club that provided so many icons to football. And for the longest time, it was what kept the memory of the club alive. It was what kept this club going. Newton Santos, Garrincha, Jairzinho, Didi, Zagallo, Maurício, Túlio Maravilha, Gonçalves, Jefferson, Louco Abreu, and so many others that were more of the behind the scenes, the worker bees, so to say. But those were the faces of success, very successful eras, and then somewhat successful eras, and enough to keep the flame going. Because there were many, many times where you had to turn the coals around just to see if there's something there. At a time where, when asked, hey, how much money do you have in your bank account because you owe us money, you need to pay so-and-so, your debt is this much, how much money do you have to give us right now, because we are here to collect? And that answer was 30 reais, okay? $6 in the account at one point in time. In a time where there was no funds to buy soccer balls or footballs, or to buy pennies to practice, or cones, or your basic sporting material to be able to function as a club, which is something that I now know very well what it's like, because I'm a vice president of an academy, of a football academy. And I see what those day-to-day operations are like when you ask your treasurer, the person that holds all the money, hey, do we have funds for this? Do we have funds for that? And for a small club like mine, for me to go to them is like, hey, can I purchase this? And they say, yeah, go ahead and purchase. And I'm in a town in South Texas where we have about 400 to 500 kids playing a season. And for a club of the magnitude of Botafogo to be in the middle of a season and not have $6 in its bank account to purchase basic equipment to function, the future was grim. And then when we won the Serie B, John Textor came and signed the papers of the recent laws that permitted him to purchase a club in Brazil. And he said, hey, in about 2025, we're going to start dreaming about participating in the Libertadores. Not we are going to be participating in the Libertadores by 2025. We are going to set ourselves up to be able to fight for a spot in a 2025 Libertadores, maybe. And then 4 years later, 3.5 years later, probably even less than that, we won the Libertadores. But not only did we win the Libertadores, we had to make it hard. Because if it ain't hard, it ain't Botafogo. If it's not challenging, if it's not difficult, if it doesn't take everything out of you and spits it out, it's not Botafogo. That's why we are born again and again and again from the ashes. Recently, like in the stands, we had the mosaic with the phoenix again and again and again and again and again and again, rising from the ashes. And then finally, we cleared it. and we're soaring above the clouds, above the sky, at the highest mountain that South America can offer, which is the Libertadores. And then the day arrives. The day arrives, and 30 seconds into the match, we have a player sent off. And at that moment, I thought, no, not again. We just got here. 30 seconds in, and this has already happened. Not again. But then, as we have faced adversities before in other circumstances, we recollected ourselves and said, okay, let's go. Because I've said this many times before. If you're going to stand in the middle of the ring with this current Botafogo, you better land a knockout punch. Because if you don't, then we will. And this is exactly what happened. We landed the first blow. We landed the second one. Then our opponent took a wild swing, hit us across the chin, kind of knocked us over a little bit. The lights went out for a little while, a few seconds. And then in the very last 20 to 30 seconds of the last round, we just knocked our opponents into the nether realm. We just knocked them into a shadow world that they're going to be in for a long time. We got that belt around that waist, the medal around our necks, the trophy in our hands, raised it sky high. And then the fireworks went on and the paper rang and all that. It was just an unbelievable experience, an unbelievable time. Everybody, Gregory, obviously, he didn't do it on purpose. He didn't mean to hit the player, but it happened anyways. And it was just raised his leg. The guy lowered his head, and it was a foul. And it is what it is. And in the rule book, that's a red card. So he was out. But then Alex Telles, as Gregory was exiting the pitch, said, "Don't worry, man. We're going to run for you. We're going to fight for you." And that they did. The battle of the Monumental, the battle of 10 versus 11 for 100 plus minutes, saw 10 man versus 11 at one time in the pitch, because there were substitutions made and players came in for other players to help keep fitness level up, because we needed it, because players needed to run twice as hard and cover twice as many steps to be able to close the gap that Gregory left from 30 seconds in. And every single one of those men that stepped onto that pitch, and everybody else that was part of this campaign, they are all heroes, and they deserve everything that is coming to them in a positive way. Obviously, some players will have their names way more than others. Luis Enrique was the man of the tournament. I mean, what else can you say? So decisive when there's a big game, when there's a need for somebody to do something different, to do something different. He was there and he did it. He scored the first goal. He earned the penalty kick. Thiago Almada that just came in and embodied the spirit. He changed the game versus São Paulo. Marlon Freitas that embodied a leadership that I haven't seen in a long time with this club. And then to do that coming from last season, where he was a laughing stock of the country, of the league, and really the world. Where there are memes of him winking at the Palmeiras match when Botafogo lost to Palmeiras at home 4-3 after being up 3-0. When people didn't want to even see his face, didn't even want him to step foot into our training grounds, into our training facilities. But he came back. He overcame a lot of hate, and he raised that trophy. He raised that trophy yesterday alongside Gatito Fernandes, that was in the club, probably in the club the longest of any player in the squad right now, and ate shit for so many years, endured so many tough times, but he stuck around. He fought. He was there when we needed him most. And he was right there with Marlon Freitas and Cheche holding that trophy when they raised it. Gatito sought after his spot in heaven and fought so long for it, and he earned it. Gatito Fernandes, you earned it. Cheche is a player that Many times here in the season, we've got so frustrated and got so angry at some of the stuff that he did, and we ask him, why is he doing that? Why isn't he trying a little harder? But damn, to look at his track record. When he goes to a club, they win a major title. There's got to be something to it. Alexander Barbosa, which had quite possibly some of the best performances of a center back wearing our shirts in multiple matches. Against Palmeiras, he was superb. Against Atlético Mineiro, he commended that defense. There was not one thing that he did wrong in that match. John, the goalkeeper, saved so many shots, so important. He was able to withstand just the parade of shots that Hulk took against Botafogo in the beginning of the match when Mineiro was up in numbers. Igor Jesus, that was hidden in Saudi Arabia. He just came out of nowhere. Took Chiquinho's spot and scored so many goals and was so important. Bastos, he got the injury from the final, the match against Palmeiras. He missed the final, but he was so important to the defense, how solid in defense we were all year long, alongside Barbosa. Alex Telles, which just took the responsibility and said, I'm going to take that penalty kick, and he scored. Wearing a jersey that is so important in the history of our club, the number 13 was Agalo and Loc Abreu, and now Alex Telles. Gregory, despite the red card in the beginning of the game, my God, what a player. I mean, I can just stay here on and on. Sabarino, Vitinho, which we complained about him just a few matches ago, I think last match. How important was Vitinho in this final? Defensively important. It's everybody, man. Everybody. And then last but certainly not least, Arthur Jorge, that just demonstrated a level of resilience and a level of mental fortitude to maintain the team exactly as it was. A lot of managers would have pulled out a forward and put an extra center defensive mid and would have just, told the team to hold the line. Maybe we can take it to penalties. Maybe we can score on a corner. No. And Botafogo scored the first goal with Luis Henrique. All 10, for exception of John, was inside Atlético Mineiro's half. Like we had an extra man, not a man down. In my mind, without a doubt, if it was 11v11, Botafogo would have won it still. And it would have been like a 3-4-0 thing. But because it was the way it was meant to be that way. No other way. Because it allowed us to feel what we felt in the beginning of the match, and then as the goals came on, to just pour all of those emotions out and really wash the soul and close every single negative chapter that happened in the past. That's done. That's 6 feet under. No matter what happens on Wednesday and then on Sunday when the tournament's over, or the Brasileirão is over, which now is only between Botafogo and Palmeiras, and we have 3 points of advantage. If Palmeiras loses or ties and Botafogo ties or wins, we secure the Brasileirão on Wednesday. And if they win and we win, then we go into the last round again, only depending on our own strength, only depending on a tie to win the Brasileirão. These players will write their name in history in a club where we have no shortage of idols or icons and heroes, but all of these players are going to join that constellation of heroes and idols and icons, and they will become part of history, as they already are. On December 5th, there will be the drawing for the World Cup of Clubs. We will find out where Botafogo plays, I believe, or at least find out who our opponents are. Botafogo will play Pachuca from Mexico in Doha. And if Botafogo wins, Botafogo will play Al Ahly in Doha as well, I believe. And then the winner of that gets to play Real Madrid in the final of the 2024 World Cup. But regardless, we are going to be in the 2025 Intercontinental World Cup. I believe that's the name of the tournament. There's a lot of important matches coming up. Botafogo is going to play Flamengo in a final because it's the winner of, if Botafogo wins the Brasileirão, because it's the winner of the Brasileirão and the winner of the Copa do Brasil. Botafogo will play the winner of the Sul-Americana, which is a Racing from Argentina. There's a lot of cool games and a lot of opportunities to win trophies. If you got in here so far, please leave a like, comment, let me know what you thought, where you were thinking during the match, especially in those first 30 seconds. And if you plan on making the trip to the United States to watch Botafogo here in the next summer in July when we play the World Cup of Clubs, I will start saving my money now so I can be there and watch this team in person. Hopefully, still with Luis Henrique, Igor Jesus, and Thiago Almada and others that may or may not be there. This winter transfer window might be a difficult one for the club to try to keep our best players. But John Texter, that's up to you, not me. And Alessandro Brito, if they leave, and again, let's give a honorable mention here to Alessandro Brito and the whole scouting department that built this team into what it is today. They brought all these players together. They chose all these players. And bar a few that John Texter came in and had a hand in choosing, they are a big part of why this team is so successful. So congratulations to everybody involved. Congratulations to John Texter. Congratulations to us, all the supporters that endured so many years crossing the desert, and we finally reached our destination. And I think from here on out, we're not going to want to experience anything less.